Okay, first thing on, after the Pledge of Allegiance is approve the regular agenda. Does anyone have any questions, changes, modifications to the agenda as presented?
I'll make a move to approve the regular agenda.
Okay,
Second.
okay, I got a motion by Maggie Bass, second by Bruce Wolf. If there's no other questions, concerns on the agenda, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay, passes 5-0. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does anyone have anything on the consent agenda that they need clarified, changed, pulled out of the consent agenda? If not, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Got a second by Maggie Bass. If there's no other questions, comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, passes 5-0. Next, we have public invited to be heard on matters not on the agenda. If anyone would like to speak at this time? Okay, we have no one wanting to speak, so we'll move on to the next thing on the agenda. Public hearings, we have none scheduled today. Number 6, engineering report. Does anyone have any questions on the notes for that in your packet? I did notice that there was some issues with the 2024 project that, are we still holding the retention on that?
We do still have the retention on that, and I know at our last meeting, Public Works Director Matt Rinda had mentioned that they were gonna be wrapping some stuff up. Well, it didn't get quite wrapped up as we had hoped it would, so
Okay.
those continue to be open, and I know Matt and Chris Knutson continue to try to work to get those resolved.
Do you know what the retention is? How much?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I believe it was around 5%.
Okay. So it's significant money.
It's significant enough that they're gonna wanna get these punch list items done so that they can get their money.
Okay,
Yeah, so, because it also indicates that the bonding agency has been contacted for assistance, so more personnel put at the issue and to push them to,
Correct.
okay.
okay. Any other questions on any other item? It says city center storm pond 90% complete. Is that coming up with the estimate it's gonna cost? Is that what?
That's just kind of where the drawings are at.
Okay.
Really, we're kind of just waiting on getting a thumbs up from the state on, using those funds as we've discussed. And so,
Okay.
yeah, we just continue to try to work through that process and the hurry up to come up with answers and then wait to get answers back. So,
Okay. Any other questions on the city engineering projects update? Okay, if not, I guess we can move on to the next item on the agenda. There's no ordinances for introduction at this meeting, so we go to number 8 and to do the second reading of the ordinance for dogs on patio. I know if Ken or Joshua, just want to bring up to speed because we didn't, Sean and Rick were not here, so we just kind of, if you can just help them clarify what
Give a
this
quick
is.
background. So in the past few years, Minnesota State Statute 157, 175 was passed that allows cities to offer an ordinance at the local level that would allow restaurant operators to allow dogs on their patios. Is entirely opt-in. There's nothing requiring that any establishment requires it, but Giesenbroy Beer Company brought it up that if they were to transition from a tap room to a full restaurant, which would then have full liquor, they wanted to have the option to keep having dogs in the patios, which are allowed in a tap room. Department of Health has specific things within this code that were specified at the state level. Waitresses can't pet the dogs, can't have a dog lick your plate. You have to have it posted that dogs are allowed to be walked through a dining room directly to a patio. So very specific language in there if a restaurant wants to allow them. And additionally, we would have a local permit that would be necessary for as long as an establishment wants to allow dogs on a patio, should they choose to do that. And we're recommending a $50 permit fee for that. And that would be a later item. If the ordinance passes, we would recommend that be passed as an amendment to the fee schedule. But again, completely opt-in, following that state statute that outlines specifically the limitations of dogs on a restaurant patio.
But the tap room
They currently,
statutes still are in effect.
they're still in effect, they don't need it. It all has to do with Department of Health and food preparation and those statutes. So that's why this statute allows it with these parameters in place.
Because tap rooms can offer like chips and that sort of
Correct.
thing, but
Yep,
that's
and
not
that's not
prepared.
considered the same as preparing food.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, anyone have any questions?
I love dogs. No. They can eat next to me any day.
Okay, I guess I look for a motion to approve the second reading and the adoption of this.
I will make a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 357, adding section 90.14, dogs in an outdoor patio area of food and beverage service establishments of chapter 90 titled Animal Regulations. That's a mouthful, you know that?
It's as short as we could make it.
I'll second that. So I guess I got a motion by Maggie Bass, second by Chuck Nicolai. Is there any other comments or statements? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay, passes 5-0. All right. So go along with this, I think the discussion or what Ken mentioned is that we would like to add a $50 permit fee if you would require this and add this to our fee schedule.
And this is a common fee we found that cities are charging to basically file the paperwork and make sure that they attest that they understand the limitations in place and make sure that they put up the appropriate signage at the establishment.
Okay. Anyone have any questions regarding the change in the, or amendment to the fee, 2025 fee schedule with this $50? Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 25110302, adopting an amended official 2025 fee schedule to include a $50 fee for dogs in outdoor dining areas.
okay.
Second.
Got a motion by Maggie Bass, second by Rick Seiler. Any other comments or questions at this time? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. General business. Anyone have anything to, well, I guess we don't have any general business, so we go to miscellaneous. Rick, do you have anything you want to bring up? Bruce?
Just a couple questions, really. If you can, on door-to-door salespeople in the community, they're required to get is it a permit?
Yes, if they are providing the product at the time of coming door to door, they need a solicitor's permit, or excuse me, a peddler's permit, and there's a fee for that they have to pay, established by the fee schedule again. If they're not providing the product at that time, they simply register as a solicitor, which I don't know that I necessarily agree with the state and how they do that, because what's saying they wouldn't go to their truck and come back in an hour and then bring the product. Whole idea is to give you the kind of thought that you're not being pressured into a sale and having the product immediately there. Where we're doing the background check on a peddler, we're not doing a background check on a solicitor.
Is this a
Just
state
register.
statute?
State statute.
Okay.
So, if someone comes to my door, then that person should be registered at the city.
Yes.
And then
They should be able to provide proof of that peddler license if they have it, or the registration if they're soliciting. Either way, they should have paperwork from Margaret is one that processes all those.
I haven't seen, I can't recall any peddler actually selling the item at my door.
Rarely do they do that anymore.
But this summer, there's just been a lot of others in that same context, but bugs and whatever. But
Solar panels.
But what does a homeowner, what can they ask of that person just to make sure that they are legal, registered?
I would say they should just ask for a copy of their solicitation, registration with the city or the peddler license.
So you give them a physical
They actually have a
document?
piece of paper they should have with them.
Oh, it's not just an online
No,
registration?
it's a piece of paper. They come in, yep.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because
And again, we're not endorsing them. It just shows that they came in, filled out the appropriate paperwork. And again, with the soliciting, we're not doing a background check because they're not providing that product at that time. Unfortunately, I wish it would be product or service, but that's not how the statute reads. So we have our hands tied a bit for that.
I just suspect that some of them, or at least one that I saw this summer, I don't believe that they would have gone through any work to register. But
There are times when they do not.
it would be good for a community to know that they can ask for that, or there's something they can ask if they want to, because a couple of them this year were probably a little more pushy than I'm used to seeing on it, and they zoom up in your driveway so quickly with whatever they're driving or whatever they got.
Maybe that's something that we can put in the utility bill newsletter.
And we have in the past put a reminder that residents can put a no solicitation sign on their property, and they should be not continuing to ring your doorbell and knock on your door. But that's been a problem too, where they,
Does that
Or that.
cover both? Peddling and solicitation?
you know, I don't know the legal answer to that.
Okay.
I'll have to get back to you. Solicitation, definitely, but the peddling, you might have to say peddling or soliciting. Most just say no soliciting.
Yeah.
We should have a sheet that residents can sign up that they do not want to be bothered, and then when they come to get their license, you can go to
We
anybody.
just hand it out
except
to
these.
them.
Okay, you said you had
then,
a couple things, yep.
Yeah, and then many meetings ago, I think we talked about, or the
Solicitation.
attorney talked about, that we don't have to allow online, when we have a hearing, we don't have to allow online.
Correct.
thing. So
Interaction?
is that, do we have to check on something or verify something or post something, or do we have to do anything, or is it just now been established because he said that?
I will check on exactly if there's anything else that we need to do. I know that we don't have to necessarily be showing these online per se, which is where that kind of comes from. We only have to have our meeting location open to the public, but I can certainly check with Scott if there's something that we need to do one way or the other, whether we allow them or not. So.
Yeah, if we have to paper something up or something, it'd be good, because it just seems very risky that we're relying on technology that can fail at any time and that we might be at risk there. I noticed the ordinance here was drafted by Evan, not the attorney, and I'm not sure that's been done before.
So for these smaller ordinances, I'll say, we'll get the template from the city attorneys, and we have to put who drafted it on there. So we just typically put our, if it's related to zoning, I know this one specifically wasn't, but we just put our name on there. It doesn't really matter, it's just so we have a record of who wrote it, but it was the city attorneys that provided the template. Yep.
Yeah, you wanna make sure that that's okay to do that.
It is okay to do that, yeah, we just have to have a
The
name.
attorney's okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, they reviewed it.
There's a little more to it, because in the future, if something happens legally, then they go back to the person who drafted that, that's who they subpoena.
Sure. So
So-
or I should say our assistant attorney, in this case it was, I'm drawing a blank on her name. Nope,
Sam?
nope,
Oh, the new one.
the new one. Anyway, she drafted it up, but
It was a female.
name on there. No, point taken though. Yep, I will ask that question,
Yeah, I don't know.
if we shouldn't do that.
So, Bruce, about solicitation, it's not legal, but the definition is the act of asking for or trying to obtain something from someone. Pretty broad, right? So if they're offering product or not, so you can have someone coming up to your door saying, I'm a heating and plumbing contractor, and here's 50% off in the event that you need my services. Well, they're not really offering a product, they're saying, well, if you want it, but you're still asking for something.
Right, but my understanding in that example, unless they're actually gonna be doing the plumbing, the mosquito spray at that
Yeah,
second,
right there, yep,
that's not a peddler,
correct.
correct?
Right,
But there's still,
State statute, basically.
Correct.
It would
Right.
not be a peddler.
yeah.
there'd just be a solicitor.
Well, that was the definition
Right.
of
So
solicitation.
peddlers, they have to come up here and, hey, here, I got a box of chocolates.
Yeah.
Yep, you give them money and they hand it to you right there.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor, may I speak to this real quick?
sure.
Please state your name and address, please.
Brian Paulson, 206 4th Street Southwest. From my understanding, it's financial gain is the biggest thing that makes it solicitation. Just like petitioning, you're not actually gaining anything, although people have argued before you're trying to solicit a signature. Courts have ruled that soliciting does not cover petitioning, so it's a financial gain.
All right, thank you. Clear as mud now?
No, I think I understood it.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I've seen, are not, providing the product or the service at that time that they're there.
Right.
And so most of them would not qualify under the definition of a peddler,
Most do not.
but they have to still be registered.
Yes, as a solicitor. Okay,
Typically peddlers nowadays are, like your ice cream truck,
Schwann's.
that type of thing, yeah, fireworks stands.
Well, as an example, I think there was one time this summer that there was kind of like a canvassing. I can't recall what it was for, mosquito spray or something. Roofing or whatever, but there's obviously 3 or 4 within a block, so they kind of went fast.
Yep.
So I can't imagine each one of those people had a registration certificate.
I couldn't say specific
right.
to those, but
yeah, I think there was a stretch with solar panels.
I never got it.
Oh, I couldn't get rid of the guy, I'm like, I don't want it.
That's all I got.
Okay, Maggie, anything?
Nothing.
John?
Nope.
I do not have anything, so with that in mind.
Can I jump in just for a
Oh
quick
darn, I
reminder?
got it. Well, we went to broke a record anyway.
No, I was just gonna say, at our next meeting, we will be having presentations of the, quick presentations of the overviews for the enterprise budgets at the next meeting, similar to how we've done, where we can ask questions, and if you guys have any certainly concerns, that gives us time then before formal approval on those would be in December. So, that'll be the next meeting, and we'll also just do kind of a short general fund budget, probably discussion at that meeting as well. So that'll be coming here in 2 weeks.
On the 17th, but that's all gonna be included in the agenda. It's not gonna be a special meeting or?
Yeah, well, I'll look in and exactly see how it goes, whether we do a formal special meeting for it or not, but.
Okay,
I want to make sure we have enough time that we're not here at 9:30 at night still discussing it, that we have enough time to go through it though and not,
No, that's fair.
okay. So based on whatever else is there,
Yeah.
okay.
okay.
Move to adjourn?
Hold it here. Anything else? Josh, you have anything else?
I got
Ken, do you have anything?
nope.
Mitch, you've been kinda quiet lately, you're good? Patrick? Brian? All right, okay. I guess, I will second the motion by Rick Seiler to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, we're out of here.
Chuck, I think you still had it though, because we didn't start until.
Well, yeah, but I don't wanna take,
I was
I
still
don't
trying to
wanna,
get you in there.
I don't wanna take your glory, Rick.